So collecting bees into a box is as simple as it sounds. It's only done for swarms. It's when you've got a swarm of bees hanging from a bush and a cardboard box, for an example, or a nuke box or a hive, an artificial hive is used, and it's placed underneath the area where the swarm is. The swarm is then banged off or dropped in or cut into that box, which is often then sealed with a sheet and taken away by, for example, a beekeeper or a specialist company that deals with bees. Often this is quite a simple process. If you're removing a swarm of bees, it should be done quite quickly, because what you don't want is the bees to swarm into the building void somewhere. So if you've got one, you really need to try and get someone to remove those bees as soon as you can. But the principle behind moving the bees with a box is quite simple. There's no real problems that can occur from that. It should be done by someone who knows what they're doing. So a job we had recently was where a client phoned us up and they asked us to remove a swarm of bees from a tree. He was concerned that they might move into his chimney. He had heard that they had been in a chimney before in the property, so he wanted us to go out as soon as we can. And we turned up within a few hours, removed that swarm into the box and took the box away. It took maybe about an hour on site and we'd removed it. So it's quite a simple thing to do if you've got the right equipment to do it and the time frame in which to do it. So the equipment you would need to do a swarm removal is really quite basic. You can use what's called a skep, which is a basket. You can also use a box or a nuke box or an artificial hive. Basically something or anything to home the bees into just whilst you transport them to something more permanent for them. It's a temporary transportation box, basically. And you will also need a sheet, so just like a bed sheet. So once you bang the bees off into that, the sheet is then put over the box, the transportation box, and then you would move that away from where the bees were, and any other flying bees will then fly onto that box if you got the queen. And you'll know if you got the queen because the bees will start flying around that box itself.